The government-to-government Beijing Auto Industry Corporation, which was lavishly ceremoniously launched satellite from Johannesburg nearly 7 years ago by Presidents Xi Jinping and Cyril Ramaphosa, was expected to create 20,000 jobs, produce 50,000 vehicles annually 2023. Increased to 100,000 as the project gained momentum. But so far, not a single vehicle has rolled off the assembly line, and there is no sign of it gaining traction. According to information shared by both Baic and Industrial Development Corporation during launch Coega on the fringes of Special Economic Zone in 2016, this is one of 26 bilateral agreements totaling a 94 billion signed between South Africa and China in 2015. It is also the largest investment in South Africa in the last 40 years and China's largest investment outside of Africa and Europe. A joint venture between Baic and IDC, in which Baic majority shareholder with 65% and IDC owns remainder, project is confidential to extent that even Coega Development Corporation, which owns business, kept confidential. Homeowners have little knowledge of what's going on the site. Nelson Mandela Bay small businesses that had been promised downside business opportunities investment gained momentum. Opportunities such as providing auto parts were abandoned. There was no communication from Baic about what business prospects they could pursue and exploit. Speaking at an Eastern Cape event earlier this month, CDC CEO Khwezi Tiya said, "We hope there will be some activity at the Baic site." He also didn't know what was delaying the project. You find people testing things but not making cars. We tried to understand what was going on there to see if there were any challenges they faced, said Tiya, adding that Baic, even his auto industry colleagues, did not specify what he was doing. We were looking forward to this project and we even named it our own, the Eastern Cape project. Hopefully, said Tiya, there will be some sort of activity as we understand it during this calendar year, but beyond that I can't say anything else because I don't want to speak for them. He regretted that the promised job opportunities had not yet materialized. However, they are still sticking to the contract agreements that were agreed upon and we don't want to believe that the facility will be a white elephant, Tiya said. Contacting Maverick Citizen earlier this month, Biac spokesperson Patience Dumisani directed questions to IDC. Approximately 100,000 vehicles would be produced when the plant was fully operational. It was also expected that many more jobs would be created as the various stages of the factory progressed. A Gqeberha businessman from the auto industry expressed regret that the project, which they thought would create much-needed jobs, on condition of anonymity, has failed to do so since it was launched nearly 7 years ago. We were looking forward to this project and we even named it our own. The Eastern Kap project. No communication from Baic, they just keep quiet, no meetings, nothing, just to keep local SMEs in loop, said entrepreneur, who tied this to close ties between two countries. He said the South African government was reluctant to intervene for fear of offending Beijing. 60% vehicle components would be sourced locally and 95% of labor would come mostly from Nelson Mandela Bay and other parts the Eastern Cape. IDC uncertain. IDC said it was aware of importance and significance of the project for various stakeholders, as well as its social and economic byproducts for Eastern Cape Province. The project line and goals have been adjusted multiple times. We can set a specific time frame for when first car will come off the assembly line. COVID-19 has taught us to be cautious and have flexible timelines, especially in complex projects like Baic South Africa project, IDC said. Spokesperson Tshepo Ramodibe. Currently, the only activity involves the assembly of disassembled kits shipped from Beijing. And even then, on a small scale. It's naive to blame COVID since the project was launched in 2016. On the Daily Maverick SA must up its game or risk missing out on a Chinese commodity boom. Responding to written questions from Maverick Citizen, Ramodibe acknowledged that the project had difficulties. There are ongoing global supply chain challenges related to logistical arrangements for production, transportation of some key machine components and essential technologies. Free movement and travel to South Africa of some expats who are supposed to oversee the implementation of the project have also been blocked by COVID restrictions. When asked why there was no communication with relevant stakeholders and local SMEs, Ramodibe said the project is subject to agreements that do not allow certain information to be shared with third parties. We are bound by non-disclosure agreements. Ramodibe says the construction of the paint shop, which should be completed in 2020, has begun. Only after this is completed, vehicle production will begin. Soon, Ramodibe said when asked when that would happen. From the beginning, the project was beset by numerous problems, including layoffs by union members, foreign staff adapting to South Africa's work environment, policies and building laws, and a lack of communication due to language differences. Also, finance is controlled by Beijing and there is a lot of bureaucracy in releasing money. This has caused business to stall as contractors drop the tools that charge fees. The project has had 6 CEOs since its inception. Eastern Cape MEC Economic Development and Tourism Lanjim Voko, contacted by Maverick Citizen this week for comment, said she has contacted Trade and Industry Minister Ibrahim Patel about the project but has yet to receive a response. At Daily Maverick, mining in Durban comes at a critical time for the West as China expands its dominance over Africa's rare minerals. Only Minister Patel can respond to the Baic project and its challenges. At Eastern Cape, we are beneficiaries of a project brought and carried out by his ministry, said Mvoko. However, speaking on condition of anonymity, the two political commentators said China could not rush to complete the project as it did not want to spoil South Africa's excellent relationship with Beijing. China is South Africa's largest trading partner, with around 18% of its imports coming from this country, which sees South Africa as a gateway to the rest of the African continent. Bilateral trade is worth around 500 billion. The two countries are also co-workers in BRICS, an economic bloc that aims to challenge the hegemony of the G7. Max Matavai is an award-winning journalist based in Port Elizabeth, South Africa.